SD1 as a role is going to vanish altogether.
By 2026, 90% of the code will be written by AI.
So what do you think you learned in EdTech?
For someone, $1,500 course can be very valuable.
How you actually ended up with Miles?
Actually, the goal was to create your second brain.
The software engineer of 2027, just a manager of agent.
The job role itself is evolving.
So with your experience, advice for them?
Learn how to instruct AI. You can even build an agent to search jobs for you. Building your own personal agent for things is, I think, underrated.
My guest today is Nishant Chahar, ex-Microsoft software engineer, Smart India Hackathon winner. He built his first company, AlgoPrep, to over 10,000 plus students. He got into Entrepreneurs First, an accelerator that accepts under 3% of applicants globally. Tried 8 plus ideas in 4 months, watched every one of them failed, and then raised $250,000 to build Miles AI, a live product turning saved content into something you could actually use. He's built an audience of over 1.5 million people across YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, documenting every part of that journey in public. The wins, the failures, all of it. He's just set up his business base here in Dubai. This is Nishant Chahar. This is Deployed. So Nishant, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for inviting me, Farhan, to your podcast. And yeah, it's a pleasant day, but it's pretty hot. Hot summer day in Dubai.
Nishant, you had the Microsoft badge, the safety, the security of the job. So what made you actually move towards your own startup or quitting that job? I don't want the LinkedIn version, bro. I need the actual version,
Cool. So basically, I did a basic math. So when I started working at Microsoft, before that, I started creating content on YouTube. So I was earning around same salary as Microsoft through YouTube in 2021 when I joined Microsoft. So I already was making similar amount of money through social media while working at Microsoft. Even then I continued to work there for 3 years. When I was in 2023, we decided to start a company. My co-founder Subhesh, he used to work at Google. He reached out to me. He used to teach at Scalar, which is an edtech company. And he used to teach software engineers at a price point of 1.5 lakhs, which is equivalent to around $1,500.
Lovely.
Yes. He wanted to give this information, give this education to students at a much affordable price. Approximately, we were charging around $50 per course. So that is how the whole AlgoPrep journey started. He reached out to me. He has been teaching for more than 6-7 years. I was creating content at that time for more than 2-3 years. So I had built my social media channels to approximately 500k followers across platforms, and we decided to start a company together. So in 2023 July we started AlgoPrep. In 2025 February we sold it to Sunstone. So Sunstone is a educational edu university company where they collaborate with big universities. They work on a campus control model. They take over the campus for next 10, 15, 20 years, and all the courses that run in those universities are run by Sunstone. So they take care of all the instructors, all the curriculum, everything from end to end. So they were starting a new school of technology. They reached out to us. We found some synergies and decided to leave and continue working on Vedam. So to answer your question, when we started AlgoPrep in 23, the first batch that we started made more than 5x of my Microsoft yearly CTC in just a single month. So I had a safety net of more than 2-3 years with me from just a single course that we launched. So we decided to take a risk and just leave Microsoft because I had 3 years of experience already there. So I could get back to Microsoft anytime, even after having 6 months break in my career from a software engineering role. So that is what I thought. And even if I don't want to continue as a software engineer, I'll have some entrepreneurship experience and I can get into a good MBA college later on. So that was my thought process.
So you actually built AlgoPrep to more than 10,000 students within just a year. What do you think, how was this all possible, firstly? And what actually made your business acquirable?
First thing was both of us had complementary skills. So he was a good instructor, he was a good teacher, and I was good at marketing. I was good at social media and all the product side of things plus marketing. So we had complementary skills. We had some intersection, but both of us had different responsibilities. So when the company wants to acquire you, they don't exactly want the courses business. They wanted to acquire the people behind the company. They wanted to have us on their team so that we can help them build their initial set of product because we have done that ourselves, right? So that is what they wanted, and that is how we basically joined them.
So, what's the current journey with AlgoPrep? Are you guys still on with them, or did you take a full exit?
So AlgoPrep, we had to shut down AlgoPrep. We started working on Vedam School of Technology full time in February. But I worked there for almost 6 months to an year. Then I got an opportunity to join Entrepreneurs First fall cohort in Bangalore. So I thought let's just do that. I ended the contract in between. We had a 3 years contract. I ended it in 6 months, and then I joined EF. So
Interesting.
yeah, I just took a call that I've been taking bets all my life. Let's just take the next one and leave the stable path that I have.
Interesting. So you have been quite explorative in your journey.
Yes.
But what do you feel has been the one thing, because as you know that most founders struggle with exit. They never tend to exit, okay?
Yeah.
And you took one within just a year at just 25. What do you think, was that motivation or the thought behind exit for you, and how easy or difficult was it for you?
The reason behind it was AI, I would say. As we saw that at that point, it was the peak of software engineering, peak of data structure, system design, like the interview preparation in general. Hiring was going down. Less companies were hiring in 23. In 23, it was the peak, 24, 25. And we saw a decline in general. Now, companies don't just want someone who can answer DSA questions. We wanted to be included in the whole 4 years of their journey of becoming an engineer, because if you just teach them for 3 months, you can just teach them some basic things, right? You cannot teach them the whole thing to become a software engineer, a good engineer, right? So we wanted to be integrated in their whole journey from a school student to finally becoming a software engineer. So that is how we thought that the next possible step is going to be joining one of these colleges or starting our own. So we even talked to a few VCs. We even thought of raising capital and starting our own. But eventually we got an opportunity to work with Sunstone, and that made a lot of sense. So that is why we even eventually wanted to transition into something like this and got an opportunity to work with a bigger organization at that point, and we thought let's just join them.
That's lovely. So you actually mentioned that after your acquisition, you were actually working and teaching with Vedam, right?
Yeah.
So you have seen edtech from a insider bigger perspective. So what do you think you learned in edtech that you haven't learned in your founding journey as a founder?
So edtech is a value game, is what I've understood. In India, it is very different from the West. Like the companies which are able to acquire customers, be profitable, are very different from companies that run in the West, right? So one of the reasons is how we as Indians consider something as valuable. So for someone, 1.5 lakh or $1,500 course can be very valuable. For other person, that might be very expensive. So it totally depends how you position the value and how the other person perceives it. India is a very big market. You'll find buyers for anything and everything. Even if you have a 5 rupee thing or like $10,000 or $15,000 worth of a thing, you'll find the buyer. So I figured out that selling a much expensive thing to less number of people is better than selling a cheaper product to a lot of people, because the problems are going to be the same. You will be asked the similar type of questions, you'll get the similar requests. It is much easier to cater to a high ticket client than a low ticket client. So I learned how to say no even when you can make money. So that is one of the things that I learned, how to position yourself, how to make you more sellable, as you can say. So yeah, that is one of the learnings.
But as far as I have understood the Indian market, a lot of coaches, or I would say a lot of gurus in the Indian market sell programs at a very low price point, because they know that they have a vast or massive audience to cover. Do you think this approach suffices? Because we have seen a lot of big coaches do that. And why do you think so?
So I never wanted to be a coach as one of the things that even now I don't want to sell a course, and I'm not doing it. When we started AlgoPrep, the basic vision was to help people who cannot spend a lot of money and get the same value at a much affordable price. That was the vision that we started the company with, right? And that is what we actually did. Subhesh was teaching at a price point of $1,500, and we brought it down to $50 basically.
Crazy.
For a 6 months live cohort. because
That's
we were
too
able
low,
to,
right, for Indian market
exactly,
at that point in
we were
time.
able to do it because we were doing it on scale. We had like thousands of students in a single batch. That's why the scale of economics actually worked out for us, and we were able to provide the same value at a much affordable price. Coming to your point, when people are selling things for 9 rupees, 100 rupees, like very cheap, you don't actually get the value out of it, is what I feel. They always have a hidden superior product behind that paywall. So when you join a master class, which is like 5, 10 rupees, 100 rupees, they will have a 25,000 rupees product or a 50,000 rupees product or a 1 lakh rupees product behind that paywall. So they know you are already interested, you are already in the master class, and they will give you cues in between, and then eventually they'll sell you that. So the whole reason behind them having this is a customer acquisition funnel to get more people to their initial product and then sell a more premium product.
Yeah, they just want to get more people in. That's
Exactly.
the idea.
And they want to differentiate someone who is learning everything for free from someone who can actually pay. So adding that 9 rupees, 99 rupees, or like whatever, you differentiate these 90% and the 10% people, and from those 10% people you then want to convert the top 1% with the highest paying capacity. So the end goal is the same. They want to sell the high ticket product to like less people, but the ways to do that is different.
That's interesting. So you mentioned then after this, all after Vedam, you went into entrepreneurs first.
Yes.
You got into that. It's a very difficult accelerator program, I would say, under 3% acceptance rate, and you have paid 8 times in over 4 months.
Yeah.
Can you please walk me through the entire your journey, and
Okay.
also just mention 3 of those dead ideas, man. I would love to hear about those, and
Sure.
we can definitely laugh over it, or you never know, someone watching this may find some inspiration.
For sure. First of all, what exactly is entrepreneurs first? That is one of the questions people will have. So it's an accelerator program similar to Y Combinator.
Walk us through what is an accelerator for people coming
Sure.
from a non-tech background.
So an accelerator is basically a VC fund which will give you a less amount of cash initially, but will help you bring a lot of like-minded people and will help you in your initial startup journey. So Y Combinator also does that. They give you 500K, which is $500,000 for 7% of equity. So it is divided into 2 parts, 125K and 375K. The 125K comes with a 7%, like 7% equity. That means when you start your company, they will take 7% of that initially and they will value at some X. The remaining 375K that you get is on a safe note. Whenever you have the next seed round or series A, whatever you call it, whatever the valuation of your company is, the 375K will get diluted on that terms. So the best part of an accelerator is you get a demo day where you actually demo your product, whatever you have done in the last 3 months to get the next round. So getting a seed round is comparatively much easier if you get into a good accelerator because you don't have to run after VCs. VCs will run after you. That is the whole point of getting into a good accelerator. And the top 5 accelerators in the world are Y Combinator, Entrepreneurs First. There is your SPC, South Park Commons. Then there is one by A16Z, Speedrun. It is also one of the biggest. Then there are multiple new other like accelerators which have come up, and US has a lot of them. India comparatively has a few. So India has 3. One is your Antler, the other one is your SPC, the third one is EF. So EF is one of those. The best part about EF, what I liked was you don't need an idea to get into the accelerator. So its whole program is divided into 2 parts. The first part is called Form and the second part is called Launch.
Lovely.
So the launch program is same as Y Combinator's 3 months of the program, where you go to SF, you live there, you work every day continuously, you have some benchmarks that you need to hit, and then you sit for the demo day after 3 months. The initial form phase is the interesting part. So before getting into the form phase, you have to fill a form on their website. They'll take 2 interview rounds, and then they'll call you for a hackathon. In that hackathon, it is not like a normal tech hackathon. There they want to see how do you assess an idea. How do you see whether an idea is feasible to build, whether you should build it or not. And it is not about building the product, it is more about figuring out whether you should build it or not. And that is what they judge during that hackathon. So there are initially around 3,000 applications per cohort. It ranges from like 2,000 to 5,000, but average is 3,000. Then they take around 600 to 700 interviews. From those 600, 700 interviews, they call around 150 people, 150 to 200 people in like 3 to 4 different hackathons. So each hackathon then has like 50 to 60 people. And you have to find your co-founder inside the hackathon, same as what you will be doing in the cohort itself. That is how it happens. And you go there, you first pitch yourself, you get 60 minutes to pitch yourself, tell everyone about you, why they should make a team with you. Then you find a co-founder, then you figure out some idea, pitch it to the EF people. They'll guide you, they'll like work as a devil's advocate in front of you, and then finally you have to pitch the final product that you have built in those 36 hours. And then depending upon how your interviews went, how your hackathon went, they'll then call you for their cohort. So that is what happened with me also. Then I got a offer letter and started finding my co-founder inside the cohort. So I met a bunch of people. So the first day when you actually go to the cohort, what happens is it's a speed dating type of a thing. So there are CTOs and CEOs basically. CEO is the person who knows a bit more about business and marketing and like product, and CTO is basically technical co-founder who is good at building stuff. So they have divided the 60 people into two sets, A and B, and then you meet every person in the other set. And then you figure out which one you want to like start the first your journey with. So I had already met like 10-15 people before the cohort started. They had given us a dashboard where we can see all the people who are in the cohort. And Deepak is from IIT Delhi, who is my co-founder. We met, we started working from the day one itself together. And we worked on, as you said, 8+ ideas. We started with one of the most basic one, which was a code reviewer. Because being from a technical background, both of us were like, this is what we should build. We decided not to build that because we figured out there were already big players in the market who had raised a lot of capital. One of them was CodeRabbit. So CodeRabbit, when we started the cohort, had just raised $60 million. For their Series B round. So that is a lot of money. So that's if true. You are starting out and there are already like 5 players who have 10 to 50 million, it is very tough to enter the market if you don't have a differentiator.
That's true.
So at least for 1-2 weeks, we tried to find a differentiator and how we can launch the product. And eventually we figured out that there is no crazy differentiator, and eventually all the LLMs that we have, like Claude, Codex, they will also launch their reviewers because there is no technical moat in this, right?
That's true.
And that is what happened. Now most of the people use Claude Code itself to review their code. Codex has their own. They acquired a company and they internally have a reviewer now.
Yes.
So we figured out that we should not build this and then move to a next idea. And then we looked at a few more ideas. One of them was a documentation agent. So this is one of the ideas we missed at that point. We should have like researched a bit more and should have started at that moment, because after 2 months of that, the open claw movement happened.
Damn.
And that is when everything changed. Before that, it was just documentation for humans. And when we talked to the consumers, it was like, we don't need documentation, because even now the LLMs are writing documentation. No one updates the documentation. This is what we learned from the interviews, and we were like, this might not be a product we should build. And we were just we were not seeing the future, right? We did not anticipate that there'll be a agent which will come and everyone will start having .md files, markdown files as their base for like having knowledge. So that is one of the ideas that we worked on. We worked on this for like 2 weeks, and similarly we worked on a bunch of ideas. While OpenClaw was getting famous, we were also working on our sort of a personal assistant on WhatsApp. That's how the current version of Miles actually like came into existence. So we launched a personal assistant on WhatsApp where you can text Miles. It can do a bunch of things for you. It can connect with your email, calendar, all these things. You can share thing, ask questions. You can use it for research. You can use it for anything like ChatGPT plus a lot of tools you can get access to. That is how the initial version of Miles started. We figured out that this is also not a very good space, because all the big LLM companies, they will eventually have their own assistants. And Google being top of it and owning Android, the biggest competitor that you have at the moment is Google.
That's true. With Gemini.
With Gemini, exactly. So even for Samsung, even for Apple, so the 3 biggest players have some sort of assistant as of now, and they are not very far away from like making it a better version of the current version of the product that they have, right? So having so much money, having so many engineers to work for, it'll be tough for us to get in as a personal assistant. And that's how we dug a little deeper. We figured out a behavior where people were saving things, and from saving we figured out if we can do something around this consumer behavior. And then that's how we landed up on our product. So that is a full
That's a full
journey.
proper walkthrough, man.
Yeah.
I think someone who's looking to raise or getting into has an idea in tech, I think this is absolute gold mine for them. They will definitely get to learn a lot of stuff. You mentioned about Miles, okay?
Yeah.
How you actually ended up with Miles, all right? You mentioned, all this other ideas that led to Miles, but what was the actual moment that you thought that, hey, we would use this as the idea?
When we eventually launched Miles to a set of users, so we initially gave access to Miles to around 100-150 users, and we saw that most of them were using Miles as a place to save things. Like they were sending random links, they were uploading photos, they were uploading like things they want to buy. For example, you find a good outfit, right? They were just sending outfits, screenshots, and things like that. So a lot of them just use it as a personal space to save content or
Like a
save
vault.
things, like their own WhatsApp. So everyone has a WhatsApp a group of their own, or a notes app, or like their
I use
Instagram
my own
saves.
number,
Exactly.
I message myself.
Exactly. So everyone, either someone has their has a WhatsApp group where they are the only person in that group, or they message themselves, right? So they use this as their personal archive. So while experimenting with those 150 users, we figured out that there are mostly 4 types of things that you save. One is your knowledgeable content, where you see value, that you want to learn about something, you save that. Second is recommendations. So you save a lot of recommendations. Recommendations can be anything. Recommendation can be a book that you saw a reel that these are the 3 books that every entrepreneur should read. These are the 2 books that every content creator should read, right?
Interesting.
Or any movie series, movie or TV series. Like if you are a entrepreneur, you should watch
Ford and-
Super Pumped,
yeah.
for example. You should watch Super Pumped, or you should watch V Crash, right? So these are the series that you watch, and when you actually want to watch these things, you don't remember.
That's
So
true.
you just save,
Yeah.
right? But even when you save it on Instagram, the problem is retrieval is a pain. Like you have to scroll through the whole thing, and you just don't find it easily.
Yeah, honestly, it's a lot.
It's a lot of effort. So we found this. The third one that we found was a personal archives. Personal archive is basically anything random that you save. It can be a screenshot from a chat. It can be a comment that you liked, right? You just screenshot it and save it in your gallery, or send it on the WhatsApp group. And the fourth one was basically random links, like articles. That comes under knowledge only. So maybe there were 3 to 4 categories. Fourth one I'm not remembering as of now. But yeah, that is what we categorized everything into. And most of the things that people were saving, around 60% of it was knowledge. Like something around
Interesting.
knowledge. It can be course recommendations, it can be the videos you should watch, things like that. So then we talked to a few more users to understand why they are saving all these things, what is the end goal to it. And everyone was like, I want to consume this sort of content again. So that's how we understood that there's a consumption need for it. And the first version of the product was just this. You can send anything on Instagram or WhatsApp. We'll process it. We'll take out all the information from it, build a knowledge graph for you, knowledge graph and like RAG, both of the things. And whenever you want to search anything, we'll be able to give it to you. And eventually the goal was to create your second brain, where you share all the information that you have, and whenever you want to like retrieve anything, you can just ask Miles and it'll give you the information. Yeah.
So you actually came up with the idea of Obsidian before actually Obsidian launched.
No, Obsidian was already there, but people were not connecting Obsidian with Claude at that moment. So Obsidian existed, we saw Obsidian, but people were not using it as their second brain. Because there was no knowledge, there was no AI layer to it initially. It was just a note-taking app, right?
Yeah.
So when people started creating markdown files, connecting them to Claude, giving access to OpenClaw, then like Obsidian actually became the second brain that people are using. But it is still very technical. Like the number of users on Obsidian was very, very, very less. When we were doing market research, we found all these apps which are already there, which are somewhat acting like your second brain, but the amount of usage was pretty less. The number of users were pretty less.
So you have mentioned that the core differentiator for Miles was people organically started asking for your product. Okay.
Yeah.
When did this actually happen?
So I made a few reels. Then we added referrals and things like that. So people started sharing it with their friends to get more limit on their reel sending capability. So we had a limit of 30 reels per month. So you can send a reel a day, and you can save 30 reels in a month. So when people were exhausting this, they were DMing us to like increase the limit. So we thought of some idea which can help us convert it into a growth hack, and that was just adding referrals. So whenever you refer a friend, you'll get 10 extra reels a month to share, and the more friends you refer, the limit keeps on adding on. So you can save multiple things, and then it'll still be there for you even after the like month ends, and the limit resets next month. So this is one thing that we did.
So Nishant, you had 200 plus interviews for the product, and what do you feel was that one thing that completely changed your perspective about this product?
So people were saying that they want to consume content, but when we actually launched features which were related to consumption, people were not actually using that. So we figured out that the saving behavior exists, and people love saving. So it makes them feel more productive, is how I see it now. Whenever you save anything, you think that there's a dopamine hit in your brain that you are doing something productive and nice.
That's
And
true.
even if you will not use it ever, so you might have hundreds of things that you have saved, and you just don't go back to them. There are like hundreds of tabs which are open in your Chrome where you want to go and read something or watch a video, but you eventually don't do it because
true.
there is a decision paralysis, right? What should I do now? What should I do next? So there are like 100 things to choose from, and then you just end up not doing anything. That is what people actually do with the app also.
That's true.
Even when the saving behavior exists, we had like like last week when I checked, we had around 700 daily active users. So 700 people are coming on the app, but they are just coming to either save something, but a very few percentage of that number of people are actually coming to retrieve something or learn something new. So that is what I learned. People say something and they mean something else. So you need to learn from their actions and not from what they are telling you. Because as humans, we don't know what we want. We say something and we just mean something else. So understanding what your consumer or what your customer wants is really tough.
So, what do you feel can resolve this? Because obviously, a lot of apps that are there these days, the major reason why they shut down or they go out of business is because they don't have like a return rate for
Yes.
for their consumers. What do you feel is a solution for this for someone who's building an AI?
We are also figuring it out right now, honestly. So what we thought is it's all about making them feel smarter. Like it's a smart, making them feel smart as an economy is a very big play, or you can call it anti-brain rot. Like if you talk about Duolingo, if you talk about AirLearn, there's a new app called Matix. You might have heard about it. It is also going viral. The founders are my friends. So all these apps are on the same principle where you should not scroll social media because it is making your brain dumb. You should use these apps to make you yourself feel smarter, either by comparing it with your friends or with someone random on the internet. Like Duolingo is just you trying to come every day to learn a new word or learn a new language, right? You are doing that to compare yourself and have a sense of superiority amongst your friends. That I know one more language, and there are lot of research, lot of debate also on this, that even after you use these apps, you don't actually retain anything. You don't learn that. It's just a feeling of learning, but the retention is not there.
Interesting.
So you can just actually work on this idea where you make people feel smart and you can monetize that. Like Duolingo is $1 billion company. It runs on that. There are obviously multiple other things attached to it, and their marketing was super amazing, and that is how they grew. Their like organic funnel is amazing. So all these things are there, but if you boil it down, strip it down, the main thing behind it is making the user feel smart.
Interesting. I think you mentioned one of the points of this book called Hooked by Neer Arial. I loved that book because obviously it talks about the principle of how you can actually work on getting retention, and it talks about the Googles and Apples and even Facebooks, and how these guys work on actual products
Retention. Yeah.
that get people to come back again and again. So I think I loved the pointer that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting thing. So you guys have figured it out, or you're still
No,
figuring
we
it
are
out?
still figuring it out. We are running a bunch of experiments, and we are still figuring out what that retention loop for us is going to be. Like saving is something which people are coming every day, but saving will not turn into pay-worthy behavior, right? You need some pay-worthy behavior to actually monetize your users eventually.
Interesting. So can you please walk me through, how the product actually work? How does Miles actually work?
Okay.
Say from my sharing or my reel into it, and what are the tech stack? What models are you using? How does the entire retrieval work for a end user?
So this is the UI of the app. Whenever you basically, there are 2-3 options to actually save things. One is just sending directly to the app chat. The other is sending Miles on WhatsApp. Miles will just go and save that piece of content for you. As you can see, I've saved a bunch of content. One of them is a recipe. So this recipe, it will find all the ingredients, all the summary, everything which is there, the key moments, the key pointers, even the macros from that reel, and it will save it in your recommendations. So for example, I have 7 recipes saved and I want to make something. It can just show me how much time it will take, how to actually make it, and the ingredients that you need, the steps that you need to follow, the
That's
nutrition
lovely,
it
man.
will have, like everything that the person didn't even tell you will find the information from the internet for you, and then show you that.
That's
This is
lovely,
one of the parts. The next part was the retention loop that we were trying was threads. So we call it threads. So it is something like this: whatever happened in the last 24 hours, which is related to your interest. So whenever you send us a reel, when we are processing it, we also figure out what is this related to. What are the different tags? So we create an interest graph for you. So in that interest graph, we figure out multiple levels of interest. So we have divided it into 2 parts, L1 and L2. L1 is basically your major categories, like psychology is a category, like biotechnology is a category, right? Artificial intelligence is a category. Then we divide it into subcategories. AI has multiple different things. Like AI has your LLMs, AI can have tools, agents. So these are different types of subcategories. Then we divided everything into subcategories. And we will fetch everything on the internet which happened in the last 24 hours, convert it into a readable note, and you can even listen to it. So the voice is robotic. We will improve all this, but this was the basic version of it. And whenever if you want to share it with your friend, you just click on share and send it to your friend. And it you can just scroll it and read through. Whenever you find an interesting story, you can just tap on it and read it.
So that this basically grabs the latest news in that specific niche, right?
Yes, that is the product pretty much. So in the backend, what we do is we have created a knowledge graph. As I told you, whenever you send anything, we actually process that reel. Our agent processes that reel, finds out information from it. So we take screenshots after every 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 second duration. I don't know the exact time period, but we take screenshots, and using those screenshots, we figure out what the reel is about.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
And then if it is a recipe, we have even divided the recommendations into different parts. The recommendation can be a few categories only. It can be a clothing recommendation, can be a book recommendation, can be a recipe recommendation. Deciding which recommendation it is, we then extract more content from the internet and save it for you. Yeah, in a particular way. So for recipes, we find calories, we find time it will take to actually make it, and if we can even find a bigger proper 8 to 10 minute recipe for it, we'll do that for you. Similarly for books, where you can actually find this book, where you can buy it from. Then for outfits, similarly, we'll find the actual product link for you where you can go and buy it. So that is what we do.
You have pretty much said in your content that you've used AI for every part of building Miles. So can you walk us through what worked for you specifically with AI, and where did it fail for you?
So if you just give AI some vague tasks, it will not work.
That's
You have to give it very specific goals to actually get things done. The initial version that we had built had a lot of flaws, because whenever you go to a edge case, it fails. So we had to figure out edge cases. We had to think like an engineer. The only a better part that you have with AI right now is coding takes very less time. So if we figure out the problem, we figure out the solution. We just have to tell an LLM what is the problem and what is the solution and what you need to implement. If you are able to break it down into this and give the right context, it'll do the job for you. It'll do a junior developer job for you.
Lovely.
So that is what we do. We try to figure out what we want to build. So writing the exact product requirement document, which is PRD, is more important than like writing code.
Interesting. I think that's where a lot of people fall flat, right? They don't understand how AI works, and I think 90% of people fail there to build actually and ship a product actually.
Yeah.
Where did it fail for you, in terms of AI? What do you feel that AI couldn't do in terms of, building the product or shipping it?
So a lot of things failed, right? Doing integrations at the last mile is very tough. So when you were integrating WhatsApp with Miles, we had to first get ourselves onboarded on the WhatsApp Business API, use that WhatsApp Business API to actually send messages. Similarly, when we were doing integrations with Instagram. So all these last mile things were like where it flopped. Even understanding the context. So when we were initially understanding the context of the video, it was not able to do that properly. Like even models have become better. Like 6 months before, video understanding models were not that great. The first breakthrough was Gemini 3, right?
That's true.
When Gemini 3 3.1 came, that was when we were able to understand videos properly. And even that is just using the screenshot wala method, because eventually video is just X frames per second, right?
That's true.
So if you are able to get information from an image, you can actually understand a video as well. But if you use all the frames in a second and like do it for a 60-second video, it is going to be a lot.
That's
so it'll be like for 60 frames per second and a 60-second video, it'll be 3600 frames, which is 3600. So you'll have to process 3600 frames for a single 60-second video to get information. So that is what you do. Like you figure out whether you should take the screenshot after 1 second or 0.5 second and how fast is the video. So you have to do all this. So all this was hit and try. We had to figure out what is going on, what frames per second, if the video is, what type of information the video is giving, and if the captions are changing every second, how you can use transcription for this video. So the overall video analysis itself is very complex. Then similarly, when we were building the knowledge graph and the interest graph, that part also you just can't give AI, because all these technologies are also new. Like knowledge graph on its own as a technology came into existence 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So there is not a lot of information on the internet, and LLMs are trained on just data, right?
Data, that's true.
So if there is less information about something, it is bound to mess up.
That's true. Where do you feel the API costs are heading, with newer models like Fable, Mythos coming in picture, which are much more expensive and again, which are better as a lot of people on the internet claim? Where do
you should figure out what task is worth spending your tokens on Fable or Mythos. A lot of things can be done using Sonnet or even Haiku. So that is what the thing is. You need to figure out which model is best for what type of a task and how much context window or how much intelligence do you need. For replying to a hi, you don't need Fable, right? And that is what a lot of startups do. They use the same model for everything. And that is how they burn out of credits and they spend a lot of money. First, you should yourself know what you want to build. Giving a vague product idea to AI will end up in a shitty product, right? First, you need to understand what is the end goal, what are the things that you need to do. So break down your product into simpler, smaller products, sub-products, and then give each sub-product as a task to AI to build. Don't just say, build me a resume and analyzer. You'll have to tell it ki first is the step that where you take a resume, you convert that into a PDF, or if it is a PDF, extract information, extract text from that PDF. Then convert this text into a JSON format so that if you want to send it to LLMs, it is easier to understand. Next step might be just sending this resume and the job description to LLM to process it as a recruiter. Like then adding that prompt for that. Then whenever you get the result for it, how do you want to process it? Do you want to convert it into another resume? You want to convert it into a latex and then convert it into PDF, or do you want to convert it into a doc format? So there are so many steps even for a very, very simple product like this. So you need to break down everything into smaller pieces and then ask AI to build those smaller pieces.
Oh,
And if you
that's
do
nice.
that, then like you'll get a good product.
I think that's where a lot of people fail,
Yes.
Interesting. So you raised capital after 8 failed pitches, right?
Yeah.
So what was the ninth pitch that you that actually made it?
So it was not exactly 8 failed pitches. It was, so in EF you have check-ins. You have a check-in with your principal every week. So you track your progress, you tell them what you did in the last week, they'll tell you if you're moving fast, if you're moving fine, or if you're moving slow. And depending on that feedback, you keep on iterating. The only goal during those 3 months is like fail fast. Whenever you have some idea, if it doesn't work out, just move to the next one. Move to the next one and go on until you have some customer validation or some users who are actually using your app. And that is when you have some idea or some basis of raising capital. Like that is when you can present yourself in front of a investment committee and get capital. So there was only one investment committee meeting which happened, and when we raised capital, all the other meetings were just internal feedback, and that is also taken into consideration when you are raising, because you have been with these people for the past 3 months, right? So they know how do you work. They want to bet on smart people. That is what they want to do, right?
Interesting.
So they will take a bet. Eventually VC is all about taking bets, right? You will take 100 bets and only 2 or 3 of them will work out. So 97 of them are going to fail anyways. And the initial pre-seed and seed rounds are mostly founder bets. That you believe that this person or these 2 people or these 3 people have the capability to do something. They'll figure something out, even if something fails. And at pre-seed round, there is no fixed product as such. Like products keeps on evolving, and you will pivot. Like change is the only constant when you are in your pre-seed or seed stage. Only after series A is when you like push the paddle and you are now working on the growth of the company. You are now more usage and more of these things. Initially you just want product market fit, which is PMF, right? So it doesn't matter what the product is. What matters is, are you the right people solving this problem or not, and is the problem even solve worthy, or is just something random.
You mentioned VCs take bet on people, and that's been there for a long time. So do you feel that in your case your personal brand or your distribution helped you?
For sure, 100%. Like one of the reasons I got into the cohort itself was because I had a personal brand. I had built a company in the past. I got an exit from that company. So all your track record matters. So when we say that someone in India from an IIT is able to raise X capital, it is not just because they had an amazing idea. It is possible that 100 more people had the same idea. It was the pedigree and your previous accomplishments that you had, because of which they were able to bet on you. Like they thought ki he or she has done something till now, so the probability of this person doing something well is high. And you are leaving your stable job to do this. So you yourself are taking a bet on you, right?
Do you feel that every founder from here on who's into building into tech should have a personal brand and a distribution channel?
For sure. Distribution is the unfair advantage that you have. Agency and distribution together is what will like actually make you a very good founder. I'm not myself a like good founder, I would say. I'm still figuring things out. But yeah, distribution has always given us the edge, given me the edge. For even for Miles, we got all the initial set of users just by my distribution without even spending a single rupee.
That's
right.
nice.
So that definitely helps. Even if you are a B2B startup, even if you are a developer first startup, whatever you are doing, if you have distribution, it will eventually help you in some way or the other. Even for you, right? Being a creator is helping you with your business,
That's
growing
true,
your
man.
business, right?
That's absolutely true. Like being a creator, it opens so many doors.
Yes.
Actually, because you get to connect with people like yourself
Yeah.
and so many other people, and you get to learn a lot of new stuff actually.
Yes.
Because this is like an ever evolving industry. And I totally agree with you that distribution channel totally helps. Whatever you're building, it's an agency, it's a service, or it's a product. It's definitely gonna help because people trust people who follow other people as well. So I think it's a crazy thing. Your January numbers were like you had 1,000+ users recently and like 40% DAO. What are your current numbers like, and where are you heading with Miles?
So we are still figuring out. We are very early even now. We have around 4,000 to 5,000 users. Our daily active percentage is around, as I told you, it's around 700 users a day. Weekly is a bit better. Weekly is around 1000, 1200 ish, right? So we just want to make this retention constant. Is that is what we want to do right now. If we are able to have a similar retention numbers for a bigger chunk of audience, that will prove that there's something worth solving here.
I think a lot to learn from your journey, and the best part is you keep posting about it online. And how do you feel, is building a product in private versus building a product in public? How does that actually turn out? Are you like, what does that make you feel? How does it feel when you fail on with something, or when I would say experiment, I would say not fail, but how does that feel for you? Do you feel it's difficult or it's easy?
So it is tough to always show everything that is going on, right? Whatever I had posted even in the past was after a week or two of it happening. It was not the same time. So it even takes time to process yourself what is going on, right? Building in public helps you in ways like we have been reached out by more than 40-50 VCs to get on a call to tell them what we want to do. So building in public opens up doors for you, because now someone who is looking for someone to invest in them knows you that you are doing something, right? If you are just inside a closed door and building, no one in the world will know that you are doing something.
Lovely.
So if you're building in public, it just helps you to connect to more people. You might find your next investor, you might find the next set of users that you want to work with, or even get a customer that you never thought you might get, right? You don't know who is the other person on the other side who is looking at your content. That is the actual value that you get from creating content.
That's true, man. I totally believe that this is the best thing that someone can do, building in public. Although I just feel that it's extremely difficult, and it's like a challenging thing,
It is.
to document everything. And like you cannot always do that, but kudos to you. Like you've been doing that, building in public. A lot of people have, like big creators have tried that and failed, honestly. But you've been doing that well, I would say that.
Thank you so much.
So I was just going through some of your, social media posts, and I have, some questions about it. All right.
Yeah.
So you posted that a CS graduate now face higher unemployment than arts major. That is 5.8%. 1,48,000 tech job cuts. You are an engineer telling engineers that their degrees stopped being safe. Defend that, man.
It is what is happening in the States as of now, because in 2014, 2015, when the mobile app wave came, everyone wanted to become a software engineer. The number of software engineers every year kept on increasing till 23, right? The companies were hiring more, there were more opportunities. But after the Opus 4.7, 4.8, LLMs can actually write a junior level engineer code.
Oh.
So the entry level jobs have like the shrunken down to like a bit less percentage, and that can even be seen with companies like TCS, with Wipro, Infosys, because they have not hired in a long time. The stock value is going down, and all this is because what a junior developer or someone who used to make like 3.5-4 lakh rupees is now can be done using AI, and that is the biggest change. So you don't just need to be someone who can write code. You need to understand the actual, like the product, why you're building something, what exactly happens. So if you learn about everything around the product in general, how to build it, how to distribute it, what exactly it means to have the product, and you're not just someone who can write code. That is the actual thing you need to focus on right now. Not learning how to just code, but learning how to build things. And build just doesn't mean writing code, as I said, right? Understanding why you are doing something, what you are doing right now, and growing as a person overall. Because eventually companies would want someone who has experience in a bunch of things. Because AI is going to be good at a single discipline for sure. Like having multiple disciplines alongside with you is what makes you a person with unique experience.
Interesting.
And replacing that is very tough. Replacing a software engineer or a developer is comparatively easier. But as you grow with the experience part is comparatively tough to get.
So your line, people who learn logic will direct the AI. People who only learn syntax get replaced by it.
Exactly.
Break that down for someone who's extremely non-technical and watching this?
So understanding what you need to build is a part of the logic. Like as I was telling you initially, right? Breaking down the problem into smaller problems and then asking AI to solve those smaller problems. Right? That is what actual software engineering is. People when I was talking about syntax, it is how you write code. Like writing code in Java or C++ or learning Python or JavaScript, the person who is asking the question whether I should learn Java, C++ or Python is the person who might get replaced. Because the goal is not to learn a programming language. The goal is to learn how to solve a problem. So if you are able to learn how to solve a problem, then you can learn any language, you can learn any tech stack. That is not the issue. Having that problem solving mindset is the most important part. How to break down a bigger problem into smaller problems and then figuring out solution to each one of them.
You tell people to stop collecting credentials and start collecting proof. 3 shipped projects in 90 days. Someone watching says, I don't have time to ship 3 things while job hunting. What do you say to them?
So if you can't ship 3 things, at least you can ship 1, right? So it's all about prioritizing. If you are job hunting right now, you have basically 2 or 3 things to do every day. Either you are reaching out to people or you are learning, and the third part you can add is just building. You are not building yourself now, you're just directing AI to build, right? So your part is to break down problems into simpler problems, and you can even build an agent to search jobs for you. So you have built something which will eventually save your time, and you can use that time to then build another project for you.
Yeah, that would be like a project in itself.
Yeah.
That can be pitched
as a startup or as a project itself, right?
You've called AI your junior engineer, multiple sub-agents, you review and publish. Is the software engineer of 2027 just a manager of agents?
It is. I think it is. You had, when you become a SDE2 or SDE3, you give task to your junior engineers like a SG1 or SG2 if you're a senior person, right? Now, the SG1 is like going out of job. Now they are becoming a senior engineer basically. The job role itself is evolving. Now SG1s are just agents. Like if you give them a particular task and ask them to solve something, they'll just do it.
So SD1 as a role is gonna vanish altogether?
Not, it will just evolve. So the level is still will be called SG1, but what we used to do like 5 years, 6 years back is not going to be the same.
So what does an engineer who's an entry level engineer who just has like a couple of years of experience, what does he have to do to make sure he battle proofs himself against this thing?
I think learning more about agents and agent driven development, like actually using AI to build products. That is what people want right now, and learning more about how to build systems. Earlier it was more about solving basic problems and learning the syntax. Now, as I told you, syntax is going out of the picture.
That's true.
Because you don't have to write a bunch of code. That will be done by someone else. You need to understand whether something is working or not. Not learning the syntax, but learning how to read code is very important. What is written there, how the logical flow works, and that is the more important part now.
So what do you feel is the most overhyped thing in AI right now, and what's the most underhyped one?
I think learning the image generation, video generation tools is something which is super overhyped, and most underhyped is going to be actually working with these LLMs directly and using the terminal for building things, right? Using the chat interface is fine. If you are a technical person, you should definitely use a terminal to do stuff, right? And you can build things on your own. Building your own personal agent for things is, I think, underrated. Building small agents for just a very particular task that you want to do. In that way, you'll actually learn things.
Have you built any agents for yourself, and what do you feel? How does that affect your regular
So
work?
I have not built agents as such, but I have built automations.
Oh,
so there are a few automations that run every Saturday, Sunday. So whatever I want to post on LinkedIn the next week, agent automation runs every Sunday, which finds out news on Reddit, Twitter, your Hacker News, what happened in the last 1 week, and gives me the list. Then I go on that, read about it, and then basically I use it.
Lovely, man. So do you feel that in 2027 it's going to be all about agents, or like will agents replace like at least 50% of the workforce?
Very tough to say, but yes, I think something is going to happen for sure. People are already using agents. Let's see how well the promises seen a lot of videos saying that by 2026, 90% of the code will be written by AI. Is it actually being written by AI right now in most of the companies? It is partially true. Like a lot of my friends have been writing code using AI. A lot of my friends work at Amazon, Google, Microsoft, like the big tech companies, and few of them have not written code in the last 6 months on their own. They just instruct AI to write code for them, and the most part that they spend, the most time they spend is on writing the product requirement, the PRD, the product requirement document. So what actually the AI needs to build.
As you just said that, and Anthropic's CEO mentioned about like 90% of code being written by AI in the next 12 months. So what does a second year computer science student actually do right now? Because this is coming in the next few years.
So they should also learn how to write product PRDs to understand what the AI is doing, understanding code reviews, understanding orchestration, like learning more about the AI layer of things, and not just learning the syntax of like 5 languages. Learn a language. There's a 80-20 rule. You can learn 80% of a thing in 20% of the time. Do that, build your breadth, and then go deep in one of the things and specialize in that. That is how you should go forward.
One prediction about AI that you feel that you can bet $10,000 on, and about jobs in the next 12 months.
So the journalist role is going to increase. The person who can do multiple jobs by using multiple agents is going to increase in the future. And specialist roles will decrease in general. There will be specialists for sure, but the quantity of specialists are going to decrease, because now companies would want someone who can do a bunch of things using AI.
So Bangalore, Dubai, or San Francisco, where does the next big AI consumer company come from?
I think still SF only. The environment is pretty different. I've not been to SF myself, but a lot of my friends have been. So how you find ideas and people who want to just build and ship is very different from in Dubai versus Bangalore versus SF. So if you are someone who is young, if you have the visa, you should definitely go there and like try out the life.
So what's next for Miles, and how can people best reach out to you? Because you are on so many social networks, what is the best way to reach out to you?
LinkedIn, I think.
Perfect.
And we are still figuring out about Miles.
So that's great, man. I think the best way is to summarize everything today is just get into it, execute,
Yes.
and not be afraid, right?
Yes.
Because I've seen you have been extremely courageous about things, and that's where you are right now with your company.
It's all about failing fast. Like the faster you fail, the more experiences that you have, and with experience, it's just you just learn a lot of things, and it will eventually you'll eventually figure out what you want to do. So it's like around and figure out. So you need to actually go around and like try a bunch of things to figure out what you want to do.
Lovely, man. So with Miles, what is the current investment that you are having? Because again, it's a free for use, as you mentioned, right? You guys are still finding the PMF. So what's your burn rate right now, and how much are you burning on a single given month?
So a lot of what we are burning is through credits right now. We have a lot of credits from like Azure, AWS, GCP, and we are using that. But on a single month, we are spending anywhere around $500 to $1,000 on API costs currently. For the users are also less, like for 4,000 users, it is this, because we are not trying to optimize models as of now. We can eventually get to a cheaper model, use a different model for each thing. We're just figuring out the PMF right now. So the burn rate is around $1,000 to $1,500 a month.
So do you feel that in 2027 model optimization or LLM optimization API cost would be the best thing that a founder could do?
It is still like a business that a lot of companies are working on, LLM optimization and LLM cost optimization, but it is not that straightforward, because figuring out what prompt needs what is itself a very hard problem to solve. So there will be startups who will do this, like cloud computing. For cloud computing, there were startups who were working on reducing your cloud computing cost, but because there was fixed cost, there were leakages. Even now in LLMs, there is going to be something similar.
Interesting. So there's been a concept lately, I would say, about fusion models. Do you feel that would be the most interesting thing about in 2027, where like other Chinese models get fused with the top models, and it makes it much more smarter.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
feel
for
that is
sure.
something that would be used in
Yes,
the
yes,
future?
yes. It is very interesting, and it might get used for sure, because your cost reduces a lot. It's all about data privacy. If you can host those models on your own servers or use a server in a different area, so your data doesn't end up in the wrong hands, then these are like very effective. Like DeepSeek is very cost effective for sure.
So, what's the one last advice that you're gonna be giving out to people who are building in tech or with AI? I would say, because again, a lot of people talk about AI, but 90% of them haven't shipped anything.
Yeah. Learn how to instruct AI. That is the most important part. And second thing is fail fast. Like try out bunch of things, do a bunch of experiments. You can run multiple experiments simultaneously using AI, because shipping code is much more faster right now. So use that power and just ship fast, fail fast, and learn from your mistakes and just keep on going.
That's perfect. So we'll add the accelerators link here in the bottom. If anyone wishes to apply, they can go ahead and do that. Thank you so much, Nishant.